How's it going, everyone? So in this video I'm going to go through the Mafex Wolverine, which is this guy right here. It's a very good figure. I've spent some time with it already. So I'm going to go through an unboxing of the figure, talk about the parts and the articulation and the way it kind of looks, and then I'll do a rundown of what I feel about this figure as well. So keep watching. Okay, so here is the Wolverine in the box. So pretty standard Mafex box. You can see the window display with the figure, which looks pretty cool so far. You can see the optional head, the mask head as well, slightly different face. The claws, which look very cool on the top here, very much like how it would be on a comic book. I'm the best there is at what I do. 6-inch, number 96 Mafex. Picture of Wolverine, and then just the X-Men logo and the product logo, manufacturer logo. On the side spine, you got artwork of him and a photograph of the figure. And then on the back is just numerous photographs of the action figure itself, which looks pretty good. This figure does look very, very cool. And then on the other side is Wolverine X-Men, another figure. The top is, if you turn that around, Wolverine X-Men, same artwork as before, Marvel. And that's about it. So let's get this figure open because I'm pretty excited to do this one. Okay, and here is the figure out of the box. It's a pretty good looking figure actually, but before I go into the figure itself, let's go through the extra pieces that he comes with. So of course it's a Mafex, so it comes with a stand that I've assembled already. So you get the claw piece there that goes around its waist. It doesn't actually close any further than this, which is a bit different, I think. I can't remember how the Miles one was, but there we go. And then the shaft, and then the base itself with the 3 holes. I'm going to put that to the side. Then with the heads, so you get the default head, which is just right there. And then you get a similar looking one, but this is actually with him gritting his teeth. This is actually pretty good looking, I think. Let's try and get that focused in. It looks good. Generally the paint is pretty good on the figure. It could be a little bit cleaner, but it's not bad. But I like this head sculpt. And then we go into the unmasked head, and this comes in 2 parts actually. So you get the unmasked face like so, which I think looks really, really cool. Let's get that focused in. I like it. You may or may not. I think, you know, Wolverine's got so many fans that different people are going to have different interpretations and desires of what he looks like. But I like this. I like the facial hair. I like the hairstyle. I like his expression as well. Then the second part is just the mask off. So you can see this little ring bit here that kind of just sits over the neck piece, and then you just sandwich it like so. And I'll show you that in just a moment. He comes with fists, of course. That's already attached to him. And then he comes with the relaxed hands like so, with the claw pieces on the knuckles. And I've dropped them as always. But this is, yeah, it looks pretty good. It's using a metallic blue. I should also point out that the metallic blue is also the same on those hands as well, obviously, but they're slightly different with the cuffs. So it's a slight shade off, but I'm not sure if that's intentional or just my unit. Then finally, of course, he comes with his claws. Now the claws are very cool looking. There's so many Wolverine figures that you may or may not like these claws again, but I think these are really cool. These are the, you know, more of a long design, which is my personal preference. I prefer Wolverine designs with the long claws, and they have a straight look to them, rather than, you know, coming outwards for the last 2 claws. And then similarly, they have the same sort of width going through. Sometimes the design, it kind of goes outwards and then thins down again. But yeah, I like these claws. These look really, really cool. And again with the gloves as well. So I'll swap those on in just a moment. Now then, onto the figure. So the figure is pretty good looking, as I mentioned previously. So it's got a kind of classic yellow suit design instead of his, you know, orange suit or brown suit, they might want to call it. But this one, as you can see, uses blue tiger stripes instead of black. Some people wanted black, some people wanted blue. I'm okay with either. You know, there's so many variants and versions of this suit that I'm just like, whatever. But with this one, I'm fine with this, how it looks. It looks really, really cool, using the metallic blue on the shoulder piece, and then the stripes as well. You know, everywhere that's blue is pretty much metallic. Like I mentioned earlier, this part of the blue compared to the actual fists and the hands are a little bit off. This very, very minor difference, but you know, it's just only because I've been playing around with this figure quite a bit that I've kind of it makes it a bit more obvious to me. But otherwise, you know, it's not a bad look. I like the metallic blue, especially on the shoulders. It really stands out quite a lot. And actually, you know what, I really like the stripes too. I just think it kind of stands out a little bit more, whereas if they were black, they may not necessarily stand out so much. Then of course you've got the belt. This is not sculpted, so it's just loose on there, which is a good thing, I think. And then you've got his boots. So you've got the little wing bits. That's what I'm going to call them now, which is pretty good as well. And then the whole design kind of goes through. So it looks pretty good overall. I mean, this figure is pretty pretty good looking so far. I should also point out his hairy arms, you know, much like me with my hairy arms. I'm probably hairier, but yeah, I really like the detail that they've put into his arms, because yeah, I just like the hairy look that he's got on, which the Robotech one doesn't have, because that's the only other Wolverine figure that I've got. But overall, yeah, this Wolverine figure looks very, very cool. Height-wise, by the way, he stands at about 14.5 centimeters, just shy of that, up to his head. But then including the ears, then that goes up to about 15.2 centimeters. Compared to Spider-Man, which I'll show later on, he might stand a little bit too tall, I think. But it's okay. But then also in design-wise, he's got a pretty decent build to him. I know, again, some people might prefer he is a bit more hench, a bit more wider looking, a bit bigger muscles and bigger, you know, more thickness to him. But again, I like the design that the Mafex guys have gone with for this Wolverine. So all in all, design-wise, I think this is very, very cool. So let's go through the articulation. Just a forewarning, though, some of my joints are a little bit stiff, and then there are other parts which just come apart, just quite similar to my Spider-Man one as well. So let's go through it bit by bit from head to toe. So with his head, you can look down like so, and then you can tilt side to side and look left and right. The bit that was stiff for me is actually when his head goes back, but it seems to have loosened up right now actually. So he can tilt back, you know, a really, really good amount, max distance pretty much. That's really good to know. You might get a little bit of gap at the neck. Then for the shoulder, so this little bit is on a ball joint right there. So that kind of gives you the extra flexibility. So when you do move his arms up, it can go up and around like so. You get that little piece inside there with the paint on there as well. Occasionally my shoulder does pop off. It's usually the left arm, so this one here, that pops off. It doesn't always do it. You got the swivel here. This is the bit which is a bit of a problem for both arms, and it turns out it's a problem with this figure in general, where if you start moving a bit too much, the peg comes off. So to elaborate on the peg at the bicep, so I took off the bicep right here, and it is actually because of the length. So here I've actually put in the peg fully, and if I take it out, or try to take it out, it's a lot more difficult now to do it. So I have to put in more effort and actually yank it out. So let's show you that again. When I insert it, it clicks into place. Let's ignore his hand. But yeah, again, I have to put in a lot more effort. So just to kind of show you again with the arm. So if I put it through, you can see the distance of the peg, or the length of the peg, is minuscule compared to when it's out. Apologies if that's not super obvious, but yeah, it is. So when you put the arm in, again, this way around actually, if you put the arm in, you feel it go in, but again, it does come off fairly easily. But without the bicep right there, it goes all the way in, and then it's, you know, a lot more tricky to remove. So put it in, but if you do want to, basically just actually be careful as you move or articulate the figure at the swivel. Just don't pull it as you do it, just push it and then kind of tweak it together with the shoulder joint as well. So that's quite annoying. That happens on both arms, sadly, but it is what it is. With the elbow, you got it like so. I wanted to point out as well, though, that this is very similar look to, I guess, what all Mafex have, and Spider-Man as well. And for my Spider-Man one, that's actually now messed up, where it's split apart. So I'm hoping that does not happen with this Wolverine figure over time either. Then moving down to his wrist, so pretty usual stuff. Hand might come off a little bit, but that's kind of normal for Mafex. But yeah, pretty good stuff for the fist. Then going down to the torso, so upper abs is very, very stiff for me, so I'm going to show you if I can. So it clicked once, but that's about all I can do to move it back again. So I know that it's moved because I can now see the Marvel sign. If I hold it back, there we go, the Marvel sign gets covered up. So he can't lean back too much with the upper bit, but with the lower articulation he can. Similarly, for moving forward, he can crunch more with the lower articulation. I think mine just needs to be loosened up a little bit. What happens as well is if I play around with this one too much, because it's so stiff, it actually pops off from the waist, but it's easy enough to click back in place. Similarly, I can't tilt him, but I think it's just because mine's really, really stiff at this point. But I can twist him. Friction is going to appear. Mine's already had some friction marks right here on his top abs, but it's okay. It's to be expected, I think. I mentioned the belt, so that just kind of is loose, so that's okay. You can pull his legs down a little bit, similar to the Spider-Man Mafex one, and that can lift up like so. And you can kind of tweak it a bit more to give him, a bit more more of a splits look. For the knee, bends like so, and then you've got the ankle joint right here, which is quite good. there is a joint here in his boot that twists a wee bit. It's very limited, so try not to overdo it in case you break the figure. So yeah, keep that in mind. Mine was a little bit stiff on one of the legs. I can't remember which one it was now, but they're both kind of loosened up. So yeah, you might get some stiff joints here and there. And then you got the toe hinge like so, and that covers the articulation then. But like I said, problem with the bicep swivel is that the arm can pop off here on both arms. My shoulder does pop off sometimes, and the hands could be a bit better at times. Additionally, at the hips or the groin here, sometimes the legs do pop off. I have that same issue with both my Spider-Man and Miles Spider-Man figure, but I think it's just a Mafex thing. I think Mafex need to really reconsider how they do their joints in general, because I think they could be better. The articulation is like really good, as you can see, but the joints just need to be a little bit more improved, so they can be on par with, say, Figuarts or Figma, which I think have the best joints. Not perfect, but still the best joints. At the moment, they're a little bit too loose at times, as you can see from the hand. Like, it just comes off way too easily. It's fine too, but it just comes off too easily for my liking. That I wish they kind of re-engineer that a little bit, because at the moment I feel it's too much like leans towards the Robotech side, where the joints aren't too good at times. So that's the articulation. Let's swap one of his heads. This head comes off quite easily. What I'll do, I'll change it for the unmasked one. So you just pop that on like so, and then pop on the other head. And you may have heard that click, and that's it. Looks pretty good. Actually, sadly, he doesn't come with a cigar. That would have been really cool if he did. Just roll up some brown paper, and then there you go, cigar. Then for the hands, let's change to the claws, because that's precisely what everyone wants to see. So pretty simple and straightforward. I'll do it for the other hand as well. There we go. So his claws, well, this figure with the claws attached looks really good. I think I really like this figure actually. Just the way it kind of looks is really awesome. It's really awesome. So yeah, this is him with his claws. I didn't mention actually with the arms, you can kind of bring them forward like so. So this is one of his very iconic poses that he does. So he can do that quite easily. And then you can kind of get him into like crouching poses, lunging poses, all sorts of acrobatic poses. So yeah, he combines well with the Spider-Man figure, definitely, which I'll have some pictures toward the end of this video. But overall, this figure is super good, really good. But as you can see, with the claws, he just looks amazing. Let me then bring out the Robotech one and Spider-Man, just to give you a quick look at what he looks like compared to those guys. So I've just brought out the Mafex Spider-Man and the Robotic Wolverine. So the Mafex ones might fall down actually, so hopefully it doesn't. So Mafex one is a little bit taller than Wolverine, and that's okay because Spider-Man should be taller than Wolverine, but they do really go well together in the shot that I've got right now. It's not obvious to see that, but trust me, they go very well together. I'll put a picture up right now. And then for the Robotech Wolverine, you know, I still like that figure. I really liked it when it first came out, and I still kind of like it. But actually, now that the Mafex one has come out, let me bring him forward a bit. I think, you know, the clear winner is you know, the Mafex one. The Robotech one is still a good figure, and really it comes down to you as a fan of Wolverine, which one you prefer, because the outfit is slightly different. This is probably, the Robotech, sorry, is probably more of a modern reinterpretation of this classic suit. But you know what? I still prefer the Mafex one because I prefer the overall design look of this, and the articulation tends to be better, and I just way prefer the joints. Even though Mafex joints aren't perfect, the Robotech ones does have its own issue. So that brings us to the roundup of the Wolverine Mafex figure. Now overall, I really enjoyed this figure. It's very cool. Now Mafex joints can be hit or miss. I've kind of gone through that in the video itself, and other people might tell you the same thing. The joints can be a little bit on the loose side. And just kind of illustrate that point again, if in case you missed it in the video, the bicep was a bit too long, and that's why the peg comes off quite easily when you have the bicep on. So I've taken it off to kind of illustrate that again for you. But overall, the Mafex Wolverine is a very cool looking figure, from the colors to the sculpt. The unmasked head is very cool as well. You know, the only real missing bit I would say is the cigar, but I think this is a very cool Wolverine figure. Now, I don't collect Marvel Legends. I've never collected Marvel Legends. I've never owned a Marvel Legends, but this is my second Wolverine. First one being the Robotech one, which I thought was quite good as well. But this one definitely stands out for me. And Mafex, sorry, have been doing a really marvelous job with their figures so far, their comic book interpretation of figures. So you had Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Miles Morales as well. and now you got him. Now Cyclops is coming out, and Cyclops looks just as good, and I'm really keen to like get Wolverine paired up with Cyclops. But overall, this is yeah a total recommendation from me. You know, there are some small quirks to it, but those are things that I hope they kind of improve as the figures kind of get made and release and iterate on over time. But definitely recommended from me. I purchased mine from Nippon Yasan for about 9,000 yen, including shipping, I would say. I'm not sure if the price is the same or if this has sold out like Spider-Man did way back. But take a look anyway. I do have a video where I go through the top 3 sites that I buy my figures from. That might be helpful to you. It's quite a long video, but check it out anyway because there's a lot of information in there. But overall, just to end this video, this is a very, very high recommendation from me. I love this Wolverine more than a Robotech. Thanks for watching. Do check out my channel for more unboxings and videos on action figures from Mafex, Figma, and SH Figuarts in particular, and other kind of merchandise that includes Pokemon and Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, just say so. That's cool as well. That's cool. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye now.